If you pay attention to crypto on a casual basis, you will keep hearing this odd term, stablecoins. What are they? Why are they so important? Today's guest, Greg Di Prisco, can help explain this vitally important concept to us. Greg, welcome to Open Source.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, look, I appreciate you coming on, not just because our last names are similar, because stablecoins, to be honest, like obviously I did 40 episodes of a show called Daily Drop, 40 episodes about cryptocurrency. Stablecoins have always confused me a little bit. Let's start at the beginning. What is a stablecoin?
So I think we should break this question into two components. What is it theoretically and what is it in practice? Now, theoretically, a stablecoin is any cryptocurrency that is trying to track the price of something else. So you could have a stablecoin against the price of gold. You could have it against the US dollar. You could have it against the euro, et cetera. It can be against oil. It could be against commodities. But in practice, stablecoins, as we call them today, are pegged to the US dollar. So you could think of it as a cryptocurrency that tracks the price of the US dollar, and you could use it for things like payments.
Okay, but what is it used for? So I understand that a stablecoin is in relation to these other commodities, but why do we need stablecoins?
Well, I mean, this is really the question of why do we need crypto in general? Because stablecoins, again, are just dollars that live on a blockchain. And what a blockchain does is it allows you to transact between two people without a financial intermediary, which frankly is unprecedented looking historically. But a great example of what you could do with a stablecoin today, if you have one of the large stablecoins, let's use USDC as an example, you could use this currency instead of sending a wire transfer. So I don't know if you've ever tried to send a wire transfer between two countries. It's not a very fun process. I mean, it really takes that entire awful procedure down from potentially several days with $25 to $50 in fees down to a few seconds with maybe a few cents in fees. So it's a material difference in the outcome to the consumer.
Okay, but why send a stable coin instead of cryptocurrency? I mean, you could also just send cryptocurrency, right?
Yes, but now you're taking on price risk. So if you were to send Bitcoin overseas, let's say you have somebody that you need to pay in Europe and you owe them $10,000. You could send them $10,000 of Bitcoin, but by the time that Bitcoin gets there and they go to an exchange and they sell it for their local currency, it probably has fluctuated quite a bit in price. Bitcoin is a volatile asset. So you wouldn't want to send volatile cryptocurrency overseas. This is why stablecoins were invented. They'll allow you to do these useful activities like cross-border payments without taking on the price risk of a cryptocurrency.
Okay, this is good. This is actually a really good conversation too, because I think there's people who are like following and still trying to understand. So basically it makes sense. So a stable coin, you keep hearing this, right? It's pegged to the US dollar. So basically what you put in, you get out, as opposed to crypto, where we know it can go up 10% in an hour, right? It can lose.
We're lucky if it's only 10%.
Right. I mean, it doesn't always happen that way. But a stable coin is always going to be a dollar. So if I convert, $10,000 into Tether, let's say, and then I do this wire transfer, however long it takes, or whenever the person, maybe they get it right away, but they don't even want to check their wire transfer for a couple days. When they eventually get to it and they take out the $10,000, it's $10,000.
That's right.
Whereas if it was $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, depending on what happened, that Bitcoin maybe in 2 days is worth $12,000. Maybe it's worth $8,000. But the stable coin,
it's not predictable.
It's pegged. And so this is important because, and clarify for me, please. We only have a minute left, but when you're sort of onboarding onto all these different exchanges, you need to have a certain set amount of money. Is that right?
No, not really. I mean, one of the benefits of using the new tools is that you don't need to have a certain amount of money to use them. You could spend 1 cent of a stable coin and it'll cost the same amount as if you sent $1 million. So really, it's a much more inclusive platform than anything we have today with the banking system.
Okay. We have 3 more segments. I'm going to ask you more questions. It's interesting, right? Because I see the value of this stable coin in having, this sort of like consistent financial instrument in a pretty volatile ecosystem. But I can see that there's already lots of different dynamics. I appreciate you. We've got Greg Di Prisco here on open source.